This episode of Destructoid is brought to you by GameFly. Coming up on Destructoid, The Elder Scrolls Online is finally being shown in a flattering light. Assassin's Creed 4 lets you harpoon sharks with a harpoon. And OMG WTF Left 4 Dead 3 basically confirmed, sort of, maybe, kind of. All that and more right now on Destructoid.
Welcome to Destructoid. I'm Tara Long.
And I'm Max Scoville.
Happy Shark Week!
Happy Shark Week!
That's our take on Shark Week.
Yes.
Because we like sharks.
Sharks, yes.
It's a joke.
Yeah.
Yes. So we don't have any sharks to talk. Well, actually, we do have sharks to talk about today.
Actually.
I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But first, the piece of news that I don't think anyone was expecting to hear today. It looks like Left 4 Dead 3 may have accidentally been outed by a Redditor during a studio tour at Valve's offices this week. This is actually exactly how I pictured this coming out. A few members from the Dota 2 subreddit went on a tour of the Valve facilities. One of them posted an album afterwards on the subreddit with some pictures that he happened to snap while there. You'd think that they have that place on like the highest security lockdown, but apparently not, since you can see whiteboards and employees smiling and posing for pictures and stuff. One particular photo has caused quite a commotion though. The photo in question shows a computer screen with some changelog history on it, which of course Redditors then magnified using their internet detective certifications to reveal an inadvertent reference to Left 4 Dead 3. Not only that, but it appears to be running on the Source 2 engine.
You can sort of read that in
There's
this.
a closer picture, actually, that somebody named Cyborg Matt found online, I believe. So as expected, Valve has declined to comment on the photos after they were released almost 24 hours ago. Chances are we won't hear anything more about this for a while, so I'm sorry to get your hopes up, but there it is.
Well, you know what this means, Tara.
What?
Half-Life 3 basically confirmed.
Well, yeah, I mean, 3.
Yeah, they can count to 3 finally.
Exactly.
Left 3
there
dead.
you go.
I don't know.
Confirmed.
That's sort of industrial espionage a little bit, you know.
I'm honestly surprised that they let them take pictures there. Some people were talking in the comments of that article, I went on a tour there and they said, no pictures past this point, so maybe the person surreptitiously took them. But then again, the employees are in the pictures and they don't seem to mind that their photo is being taken, so who knows?
That's so weird. Anyway, I guess that's cool. On Friday, we talked a little bit about the news coming out of QuakeCon, and I promised that there would be some more news to show up before the weekend was through. And sure enough, Bethesda and ZeniMax Online live streamed a solid 30 minutes of live gameplay in The Elder Scrolls Online. I first checked out The Elder Scrolls Online way back at E3 last year, and back then, it honestly wasn't the most impressive thing. I think it looked a lot like World of Warcraft, and I think it either turned off fans or just left them feeling kind of underwhelmed and nonplussed. And then 4 months ago, I was actually out at the ZeniMax Online Studios, and I got a chance to screw around with the game, see it running in first person. Actually, I was first person, but it was also in first person. And then, find out that you can pick up cheese wheels and sweet rolls, and otherwise, get the sense that yes, it is an Elder Scrolls game. But unfortunately, none of that was shown off in the gameplay footage they gave us. So our videos were me kind of hyping this thing up, and then, weird flyover videos. And we got kind of a glimpse of how the game looks in action at E3, but again, it was in that kind of over-manicured gameplay trailer sort of way. And since the game is graphically much less impressive than Skyrim, I feel like that didn't quite sell it either, but now, finally, Bethesda has actually shown off how the game looks when it's being played by people in the game, because it's a people game. And I think it does it a lot more justice than basically everything else they've shown off so far. So if you're interested in that, there's plenty of combat, as well as some sneaking and some fire arrows and some horseback riding, and there is fast travel, which is cool for an MMO. There's also, discovering new locations and lore books and all that kind of stuff, and it definitely makes it feel much more like the Elder Scrolls that we all know and love. So, go check out that full gameplay demo if you haven't already. ESO is slated for a release on Mac and PC and next-gen consoles sometime in the spring of next year.
I'm kind of looking forward to this. I'm going in with a cautious attitude.
Yeah, it's weird. I was thinking about it, and the way they kind of gradually trickled out stuff for Skyrim, we didn't get hands-on with that until PAX, which was 2 months before it was being released.
Yeah.
And we didn't see gameplay. They showed off a little bit of gameplay kind of around E3, but this they showed it off too soon, I feel like, and it just,
Yeah, they did seem a little overzealous with their marketing tactics this time around. I don't know what the deal with that is, but
Yeah.
I can only hope it looks it is as good as it looks.
It's going to be cool to see like a really big MMO on a console.
Yeah, that will be interesting, to say the least. So some of you might recall that mysterious trip that I made to Singapore a couple months ago, which I couldn't talk about then, but surprise, I can talk about it now. So I was there visiting Ubisoft Singapore, which is the studio that does all of the naval combat in Assassin's Creed. Specifically, I was there to check out Assassin's Creed 4 and see what's new and what's going on with all that crazy, wacky naval warfare, and of course the new underwater sections, which look really cool. So first and foremost, I just want to throw this out there. You can harpoon a great white shark in Assassin's Creed 4.
Did you hear that noise?
Yeah.
That was people pre-ordering the game.
Yes. Not only can you, but you will have to harpoon a great white shark in order to get certain upgrades for your characters, because that's how that's going to work. So,
because Far Cry 3.
Yeah, exactly. So mentally prepare yourself for that if you're not into harpooning sharks and whales and stuff. Now, as for the world itself, it's much, much bigger than Assassin's Creed 3, and everything is open from the beginning, so you can pretty much just go wherever you want and start exploring and find something to do. Like you said, it actually is structured a lot like Far Cry 3 now, so the forts basically act as outposts. So when you take one down, it becomes a friendly fort, and that sort of reveals a new area on the map. Now, the naval combat has been given some upgrades as well. It's got a better targeting system. There's also newer and more different ways to fight. So now the ship comes equipped with mortars, which are good for long-range combat. There's also firing barrels you can throw out that are kind of like mines, where they'll detonate whenever an enemy ship hits them. So yeah, it seems like they've made some improvements there. As for the underwater sections, these are sort of designed to flip the game on its side. So whereas your character is the hunter, now you basically become the hunted. And what's cool about the underwater stuff is that unlike most underwater sections in games, you're not gonna have to resurface for air like every 15 seconds. They give you a really generous breath meter here, and they have like little air pockets hidden throughout the ground. Like they have these things called air barrels. So you can actually like duck underneath one and pop up inside for air, which is pretty cool. I love that they were able to solve that problem in a non-obnoxious way. I couldn't get the guy I was interviewing to tell me exactly how many species of animals are in the game. I know that's a question that is very important to you. But I do know there are plenty of underwater threats, including but not limited to sharks, as we previously said, whales. There are also dolphins, moray eels, fish, as you can see, whole schools of them, sea urchins, jellyfish, I can't remember if I said that or not, and deadly underwater sea currents that can actually carry you away if you're not careful to avoid them. No word yet on sea turtles or the elusive blobfish, but I think that hangs around Australia, so we may not see that.
I really don't want to play this game anymore because there are moray eels in it.
Really?
And
I thought you were more scared of sharks.
Terrible. Sharks are pretty scary. I hope they're not as, I mean, they're probably won't as scary because the ones in Far Cry 3, since you're in first person and you just turn around and they're just...
I'm sure you'll be able to manage.
The moray eels are horrible.
The cool thing about the underwater section is that you can actually come upon caves, like you enter into the water and then pop out in a cave, and these are usually guarded by smugglers with a bunch of loot, and there's possibly some ship upgrades you can steal. Ship customization is going to be a huge thing in this game, so there is a lot going on here. I have barely touched the surface. If you guys want to see some actual footage of this in action, more than what we've shown, there is an interview up on this channel with Destructoid's Hamza Aziz. I have also got 2 interviews up over on our Rev3 Games channel, that is youtube.com/Rev3Games, which you should go watch because I look nice in them.
Well, good,
I wore
Tara.
a skirt,
Good
which
work.
doesn't happen very often, so it was hot in Singapore.
Well, good. Well, speaking of skirts and clothing in general, I suppose, Saints Row 4 gets released at the end of the month, and in spite of a totally annoying cloud of negative buzz from people who are mad that it's coming out for whatever reason, it seems like there is some excitement surrounding it, and it's certainly doing well in terms of pre-orders. I think it's trailing on GameStop just right behind GTA and Call of Duty Ghosts, which is not too bad.
Yeah.
But if you're one of these people who's actually looking forward to the game instead of just being mean about it, then you'll probably be happy to know that the inauguration station is now active. You guys might remember the initiation station released prior to Saints Row the Third, which let you create your character and then kind of upload him, her, or it to share with the rest of the world. And then when the game came out, you can basically just import that character and have your character ready to go. Because as we all know, there's some customization in Saints Row.
Just a little bit.
You can get creative. The inauguration station, gives you a chance to do all that. And you can just import that. But now you're the president, so you probably want some more formal clothes, or maybe not. Maybe get weird. This is hitting Xbox Live and Steam today, and PSN will be getting it next week on the 13th, unless you live in the UK, in which case you'll be getting it tomorrow, unless it's raining and you're not wearing a hat, unless the hat is purple, in which case you will be eligible to download it. Regional rules are dumb. I'm kidding. You get it tomorrow if you live in the UK, everywhere else the 13th. Anyway, Inauguration Station is a free download, and even if you're not sold on Saints Row 4 yet, you should go check it out because it's summer and there's nothing to do. Why not dress up some characters and adjust their breast sizes? Make a Max Scoville or a Tara Long and share them with the rest of the world. Go do that. If you guys haven't seen it, I actually played Saints Row 4 for a solid hour and a half with Deep Silver Volition's Dave Bianchi, and that's over on Rev3 Games, so go check that out. That's like an hour and a half of gameplay. Who does that?
I know. I love that they let people do that. That's so awesome. Speaking of video games, if you like video games and you don't have hundreds or maybe even thousands of dollars to spend on them, then you need GameFly, my friends. GameFly is the largest online video game rental service in the world. They've got over 8,000 games, new and old, across all consoles and handhelds. With plans starting at just $15.95 a month, GameFly members can rent 1 to 4 games at a time and keep them for as long as they like. There are no late fees, no due dates, and shipping is always free. It's a great deal. Once you're done playing a game, just send it back and GameFly will send you the next available game on your list. Or if you really like the game you're playing, you can keep it. Just head over to the GameFly website and click Keep It, and the game is yours at a discounted price. They will even mail you the case and manuals free of charge. GameFly members can also play hundreds of PC games for free with their unlimited PC Play plan. Just hit up gamefly.com/Destructoid and we will hook you up with a 15-day free trial. Nothing better than saving money.
Yeah. On games.
On games. Back to the show about games. So one of the coolest features, at least I think, in next-gen consoles is going to be this ability to record gameplay footage as you're playing it without the need for a third-party device.
Making our jobs
Exactly.
obsolete.
That's why I'm
Or
happy
easier.
about this. So today we get a few more details on how exactly that's going to work for the Xbox One. Now, according to VP Mark Whitten, the game DVR is going to be able to capture 720p footage at 30 frames per second. So now you know that. No surprises there. As for gamer picks, he said they're going to be upgraded from 64 by 64 to full 1080p, and get this, they'll allow for full body HD gamer picks using your Xbox avatar. I bet nobody will abuse that.
Oh, that's gonna get
Nope.
bad.
That's going to be fun for
Yeah.
us. The last question that he addressed in this Ask Microsoft Anything thing that he was doing was the topic of achievements and whether or not you'll be able to earn 2 sets of achievements for playing the same game, one on Xbox 360 and one on the Xbox One. Turns out you will be able to do this, and the Xbox One is also going to have the added benefit of providing seasonal and time-based challenges for players to earn extra rewards. We kind of already knew that, but still, it's nice to know that, they're just doling out the achievements like candy to children.
Yeah.
Or
I'm more interested in
people
this
who eat candy.
1080p gamer pick thing. I just feel like this is going to get really. We're going to see really high-res pictures of people's favorite anime characters. Really high-res pictures of a gun or somebody's car.
Yep.
Like
Or
a really blown-up tribal tattoo.
a big dong.
Probably some wieners.
Probably some wieners.
Anyway, that's all the time we have for today's show. We're going to be back here on Friday, but our producer will be out. I think he's got cholera again. So the show will not be live, but have a great week, and we'll be back here on Friday.